Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to another exciting adventure in tarot land. I have a guest with me today, Mr. Bones, and I take him out of the closet every year on October for Halloween. Say hello. And so I got skeletons in my closet. Anyway, it's your big chance. Do something. Say something nice. Okay, here's his best side. All right. See you later. Thanks for dropping by. Put some Neosporin on that. Careful with that. What am I doing here? Okay. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the comments I get in my YouTubes. People ask me questions, and I thought, well, I'll do a YouTube on answering these questions. And I won't mention any names of people, but well, I guess I could mention the name of the person if I see it in there. But I thought it'd be interesting to do something like that. One of the big questions I get, one of the ones I get is, what am I always writing in these? I'm always writing in here. When I'm talking, people see me writing as I'm talking. This is just my notes. There's nothing. Well, there are some classified documents of mine in here. I do keep them handcuffed to my wrist, so I don't lose them. Nobody can grab them from me. Top secret stuff. I carry my cyanide pills with me in case somebody tries to make me break the code here. Anyway, this is the kind of stuff I just do in here. It just notes as I'm going through things, talking to people, and there's nothing really valuable of any kind in here. There was no other way to define what tarot, what that is. I don't know. Nobody is looking at a blueprint. I do a lot of this kind of stuff on here. And all decks work. The application is why, not the cards, common questions. Self-doubt, interpretation. No one reads the same. 2 blocks east of LaGrange Road, 93rd Street. Directions or something. So I just do stuff like this. And it's really just what's going through my head at the time. And when I look at it, it's just I can tell what I was thinking when I wrote it, but there's nothing clear cut for other people to really know what I was doing at all with this type of thing. It just goes out there. But it's interesting to look back at. And the only bad thing about something like this is there's nothing organized about it. It's just what I'm doing. This is a spread, I think. 10 of Wands, World, six of Wands, 5 of Cups. Yeah, 2023. That's not even here yet. All right. Somebody's phone number. List of people I read that day. So it's just chock full of information. And I got these all over the house. And I do write things in here from all the time. I'm just writing things. It could be watching television and somebody says something on the TV. I like what they say, I'll write it down. Matter of fact, Radical Tarot, I actually have Radical Tarot. breaking all the rules. I have in there chapter 6, other fancy stuff. And in here I have a number of pages here were just my thoughts, random thoughts. And these, a lot of this is probably taken from these books, these pads of paper. So that's in here. But it's just what goes through my head. And a lot of those were things I've heard or thought that went through my head. And I wrote them down somewhere because once you lose them, they're gone. And I put them on that page in that chapter. Radical Tarot has that. So you can see what's in the mind of a madman. So that's one question. What am I writing in these things? And that's what it is. I like to use this kind of a paper, this kind of a pad, because it doesn't have lines on it. I like to draw and write, and I like to be able to write anywhere I want to, whatever size I want to. Where with note paper, you're confined to be within those areas, or you're supposed to be. And they're just annoying to me. So I don't use them. And I use a pencil instead of a pen because I can erase. And seeing I'm drawing a lot on here too, pencil is better for that. It's just the way I think. That's that. Another question I saw in there was, what's the best deck to get? And my answer to that would be any deck you like is the best deck to get. And that could change too. That could change with time, you know. So maybe right now you like a Rider-Waite deck, fine. And then later on you like a Greer deck or Aquarian deck, a Marseille or some other deck, and you go with that for a while. You might drift here and there, and that's fine. You know, it's nothing wrong with that. Maybe right now this year you're using a Marseille deck, and then 3 months from now you decide I want to use a Rider-Waite deck. Right now I'm using this deck, which we were talking about yesterday, the Zangini, I think it's called. I don't have the box here right now. I have a couple versions of it here in my right next to me, and that's why I'm using them. Somebody called for a reading. That was the deck. I like the deck, and it's just what I use. And it's a gypsy. It's called the Gypsy Tarot deck, and I think it's Zangini or Zagoiner. I can't even pronounce the name. It was big in the 80s. But it doesn't make any difference. There's all sorts of different decks out there. And you might like this, you might like that. It doesn't make any difference. Whatever you like, use it. Also got 78 cards. They all got a 6 of swords. They all got a temperance card. And they all got the cards. It doesn't make any difference what deck. No deck is better than another deck. It's just what you personally would rather use. And if it bounces around, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that at all. Somebody was asking about our day at the Asa Fest. A lot of people asked about that. They said they never saw activities like that, and they were really glad to see it because they wanted to see how that would work. And yes, I would really strongly suggest that anybody who's getting into the tarot to become to go to a festival, do a festival. Just you're a vendor, you pay your entrance fee to be there. Get yourself a canopy tent. All you need is a couple of tables in there and a few chairs. Buy a banner from Vista Print or something to put across the tent to say psychic readings. That's all. And have it posted the price you want to charge. If you don't want to charge anything, just want to go with tips, you could do that too. put a tip jar out there and just say free readings. And you'll have all sorts of work. And you will pay for that booth with the free readings because you'll be getting tips. But if you want to charge, put a price out there, that's fine. If you feel comfortable with that. If you never did it before, maybe you don't, do it that way. Tips. But it's a good way to practice. What's nice about being a vendor at a festival is this is all your setup is. It's a deck of cards. If you're selling sunglasses or purses or some beer mugs or something, you got to put all that stuff on the display. You got shelves, you got all this stuff gets broken. It takes a long time to set up and to take down. But when you're a vendor and you're just a card reader, you don't have anything really to set up. So it's a real great thing to be a vendor in. I've gone into different festivals where if you didn't have to set up a tent or anything like that, you're just 5 minutes before you start, before the doors open, you just come on in and then you set down your cards and you sit and you're ready. Where other people are coming in, maybe they'll tell you come in a couple hours early to get things up on display. And there's a lot of prep work. And at the end of the night, you got to take it all down. So being a vendor as a tarot reader is a nice way to do it. So I would suggest try it. Could be a neighborhood festival. Give it a try. Have fun with it. And you will have fun with it. I go into that with another one of my books, Straight Tarot, How to Survive as a Tarot Reader. And there. It's a 100-page book. There's nothing really to it. There's also an ebook. But you might like that book. All sorts of tips about being a professional reader. And being a vendor is one of them. I'll put a link to our day at Theosophy in the description of this video, and you can click onto that and see all you want with it. See, I'm talking about my books. I'll mention one other. If you're going to be a vendor at a festival or on the road anywhere, and you're not too sure about the cards yet, you're not comfortable with it, I would say get this little book here, Roadhouse Reader. Just got the card meanings. Quick and easy. And nice little handy thing to have in your pocket or in your bag. Roadhouse Reader. A quick and easy professional guide to using the tarot. I won't talk about my books anymore. Here's another common question that I see. Do you always ask what their question is? And I say, yeah, I do. And if they don't give you an answer, then you're just doing a cold reading. But I will say this, if you are reading professionally, and I've said this before on other YouTubes, people are paying you money to be there, sit across from you. They usually are very, very happy to tell you what's going on with them. So if you're reading just for kicks, yeah, people like to see what you see. What do you see in the cards? But if people are paying, people are paying you money, they'll tell you what's going on. So very rarely will you have somebody do that. They're going to pay you and not tell you. And if they do that, you get good at starting to fish it out of them. You know, you could just start throwing cards over and they say, well, just tell me what you see. And you can start interpreting the cards. I see this going on and I see that going on. Is this good? But as you're saying these things to them, you're asking them, is there a change coming up? Is there something stopping you right now from moving forward on something? Is there conflicts over here at work or some other part of your life? You could ask them questions like this. And as the cards are being laid out and they start looking at those cards, they'll start to open up and say, well, yeah, I am trying to do something, but I'm getting some resistance here or there. And then you could say, well, what is it that you're trying to do? And they'll start talking to you. So you start a conversation with them, they'll start opening up with you. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. But otherwise, they just get a shitty reading. No. Usually that's the case, is you get the people to open up. So I will say, I don't remember the last time I did a reading where the person didn't want to tell me what was going on. It might have been, if I remember right, it probably was about 4 years ago, a 15-minute reading. So that's how rare it starts to get. Another question here I'm getting is, how do I see the suits, the 4 suits of the minor arcana? With my way of doing it, and I talk about this in my books, but my way of doing it is I see the 4 suits as the 4 basic functions of consciousness. Swords are thought, cups are feelings, the wands are your spirit, what makes you who you are, what inspires you, what you want to do in your life, and the pentacles are your physical world. 4 functions of consciousness. And I really don't use the suit that much at all, because I think anything you're involved with will affect all 4 of those functions of consciousness anyway. Some more than others, some suits more than others. If it's a relationship, your feelings, but it's still going to affect your thinking, your physical world. It's going to affect your spirit. Whatever you're involved with, it affects all 4 of those suits. So I use the suits very, very sparsely in my readings. So to me, all the 4s, whether it's the 4 swords, 4 cups, 4 wands, 4 pentacles, doesn't make any difference. It's a 4. I just read the numerical value. Principle, that's my main focus there, is the numerical value of the card. Same with the court cards. And that's how I do it. And if you want to throw the suit in afterwards, let's say you see a lot of cups in the reading, you say, well, I see a lot of heartfelt energy in this. Or I see a lot of swords, and I see a lot of careful thoughts going into the situation. No, you just throw it out there. That's how I use the 4 suits, and it works out fine. And I started doing it that way because as I was teaching tarot, I'm trying to explain to people how it worked. And I would throw a sample reading down, and people would say, well, this would be perfect if this card was only a cup instead of a sword over here where it's placed. And it got to be confusing with them because the suit was getting in the way all the time. I said, you know what, just forget the suit. And that's how I started teaching. I found it worked a lot better. I didn't use the suit that much anyway. So I was teaching, though I thought I better talk about the suit. Nah, it didn't really make a difference. And then over time, I just realized that it wasn't necessary. And I've been a successful reader reading that way forever. And I don't use reverse meanings either. So the good news, when you take my class, there's 78 cards. And if you use reverse meanings, there's 156 definitions. Well, the way I teach is there's 78 cards, there's 22 major arcana, and then there's 14 ace through 10, and 4 court cards, 14 minor arcana, and there's 4 of each one of those cards. There's 4 kings, there's 4 tens, there's 4 eights, there's 4 aces. So there's only 14 cards you really got to know. 14 meanings for the minor arcana, ace through 10, and the 4 court cards. And so it's only 36 meanings you really need to know to read tarot cards professionally. And that's that. It's better than 156 definitions, that's for sure. And I use keywords for my meanings. So this makes it a lot easier to start learning the cards by using them instead of learning them by trying to memorize all these meanings and all of that. Works out well. At least it has for me. So I don't use reverse meanings, and I don't use the suits that much, really. And I have people that I've taught who later on said, you know what, I want to start using reverse meanings. And they have, and they liked it. Or they want to go more into the suits, and they have, and they liked it too. But they started out with what I did. And then as they progressed, they wanted to go more into something. And I don't know if they ever got away from it, went back to what I was just doing, or they stayed with what they had or what. I don't really ask them if I see them. We talk about other things. It doesn't make any difference. You find your own way of doing it anyway. And that's what you're all going to do. So basically, as a teacher, I'm just showing you what I do as a starting point for you to start dancing with these cards. And you're going to find your own style anyway. There's no one way to read these cards. And I know lots of readers. And I know one thing, none of us read the same. I never met two readers that read the same anyway. You won't either. If we were learning art, and let's say I was Picasso, and I'm going to teach you how to paint, you will not paint like me. You might end up painting like Salvador Dali or Rembrandt or somebody. I'm just teaching how to paint. I'm teaching how to layer your picture, teaching how to mix the colors, how to put them on that canvas. And now you're going to learn to paint what you want to paint. And that's what I'm doing with the cards. So I thought I'd just mention some of these things and put them out there for you. And I do like I like when you send comments. I read them. I enjoy them. And I like the fact you go to my channel. And I just lots of times I want to respond back, and just never get a chance to. So it's always good. I thought I'd do something like this just to go over a few of the things that people seem to be common questions with things. I'm going to put a link down below to that Theosophy that Linda and I did to show you how the festival looks. And there's some readings I did in there too that are on the movie. And also mention, I'll put a link to my books on Amazon, and I'll put a link to tarotmaps.com too. Tarotmaps.com is where the Zoom meeting is going to be from. That's where you go to the link to go to the Zoom meeting. Our next Zoom meeting is October 11th. So if you go to tarotmaps.com and you go to Tarot Gatherings in the menu, right there in that page, there'll be a link right to the Zoom meeting. All are welcome. And there, if you got a question about tarot cards, there's all sorts of pro readers in there. There's novice readers in there. It's just a bunch of people who are interested in tarot cards get together, share ideas. And you got a question, there's a whole bunch of people in there be willing to, very happy to answer your question. Otherwise, we just get together and talk. And it's been going on for over 2 years now. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you like this. Keep throwing cards, and we'll talk soon. Bye.